Welcome to episode 7 of When Safeguarding Fails, the Lizzie Gladwell Crisis. I'm Jeremy Gladwell, Lizzie's dad, and I'm telling the heartbreaking true story of how our daughter, a vulnerable young person, was taken, isolated, and subjected to coercive control, and how she was cast adrift by the agencies tasked with safeguarding. The morning of August 27th marked a new low in messaging madness. The message read, "I don't want to see you anymore." I didn't respond. It was a delicate moment, and a hasty reply could easily make matters worse. But who would actually receive my reply? The message had come from Lizzie's number, yes. But why would Lizzie send it? What had I done that would make my daughter suddenly decide to sever ties with her own dad? I didn't believe for a moment that Lizzie had sent it. Not without controlling influence, certainly. That afternoon another text arrived from Lizzie's phone. "Do you even care that I don't want to see you anymore? All you and her did was hurt me." All you and her? Was Lizzie now referring to her mum, once mummy, as just her? Even as I debated how or whether to reply, my phone beeped again. "You don't care, do you?" I responded, "You know I absolutely do care. Kiss, kiss." The reply was swift. Then why? Curiosity got the better of me. "Why what?" I asked. "Why control me all that time?" "I will respond to truth, Lizzie, but not to lies," I replied. "The truth is that you controlled me. Both of you did." I refused to be drawn into a damaging game of accusation. It was clear that this was meant to provoke me to anger, but I wasn't falling for it. "Not biting, Lizzie. Love you, kiss kiss," I replied. A minute later the same message reappeared. "I don't want to see you anymore." The next day at 10:38 p.m, another text came from Lizzie's phone. "Hi." I was relieved. Keeping communication open was crucial. I didn't need to be talking to her constantly, but maintaining cordiality felt vital. I was confused, yes, but I knew Lizzie had no reason to cut ties with us, her mum and dad, or anyone else in her life that she had been taken from. Starting with a smiley face, I replied, "Hi, pickle, kiss." Her response was shocking. "I thought I'd blocked you." My heart stopped. Why on earth would Lizzie want to block me? There was no reason. I hadn't been hassling or harassing. I'd let her take the lead in initiating dialogue because I was increasingly doubtful that my messages were being read by Lizzie alone. This was only 2 days after my birthday visit, where she'd chatted excitedly about running around in the soft play area. There had been no conflict. Yes, she had forgotten my birthday, but I didn't hold that against her. Why would she want to block her own dad? It was becoming harder to see her and talk to her. Blocking me or anyone else in her support network would be dangerous. I answered calmly and carefully. I would strongly suggest that, however challenging this all is, we don't block each other. That would be the wrong decision. Love you. Good night. Kiss, kiss. At 10:53 p.m, just before I went to bed, I received a reply. Why? I want you out of my life. In my journal I wrote, I'm aware that the bond of love and trust between Lizzie and me is fragile at the moment. It is still there, but cannot be taken for granted, and risks being severed. May that not happen as a result of a hasty reply from a wounded ego. Wisdom waits where foolish fingers type. Love is patient. Love is kind. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. That night my sleep was restless, filled with fear that Lizzie might actually block my number. At 3:30 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I repeated a little rhyme to myself, a mantra to calm my mind. Break the chains, Lord, help her see. May angels come to set her free. This was torture. This was hell. Lizzie's vulnerabilities were being exploited to isolate her from us, to turn her against us, to drive a wedge between us. Lizzie had been groomed and taken, and then manipulated to sabotage her relationship with her parents. Were the agencies really considering any of this normal or safe for someone as vulnerable as Lizzie? How could they dismiss our concerns without investigating or meeting us? The following morning, I replied to the message that read, I want you out of my life. So just don't text me if you don't feel like it. You know I'm not going to bombard you with messages, but blocking my number would close the channel between us, and that would be a problem if either of us has important information to share. Kiss. In my head, in my heart, I prayed, please don't do this, Lizzie. I'm your dad. You won't be able to ask me to get you out of there if I'm blocked on your phone. What on earth was happening? A message quickly followed. What have you done to the phone to make it so it can't block you? You did something to it. I silently urged, please, Lizzie, stop trying to block me. You know this is wrong. I replied, not done a thing to it, Mink. Please reread my last text and think carefully. Then why hasn't it blocked you? She asked. If you were here, I would take a look, but there's nothing I can do from here. Just don't text me if you don't want to, I said, still trying to keep things calm. But something was very wrong. Either Lizzie had lost any ability to reason, or someone else was pulling the strings. So you're always going to be in my life then, always there, even though I don't want you to be. What had I done? What could possibly justify such hurtful words intended to provoke and wound? The anxiety, the fear, they were overwhelming. I knew that a pause was needed, time to reflect, to soothe troubled waters. Lizzie needed space. Leave the phone, Lizzie, I advised. Go and find something to do or watch that gives you space. Kiss. The strategy didn't work. I don't get it, came the sharp reply. Why still be controlling? I don't live with you anymore, so why still be like this? Get it into your head that I'm not going back, so give it up. Let me block you, then you're out of my life forever. It's like you're stalking me. I wanted to scream, who is on the other end of this phone? Certainly not my daughter. The tone, the grammar, the venom, none of it was Lizzie. Instead, I took a deep breath and refocused before replying. I'll ignore that insult. Please stop being so nasty to me, Lizzie. Kiss. Although I tried to calm the situation, someone on the other end continued to stoke the fires. But you won't get out of my life. You won't get out. I didn't respond. I needed to step away. I went for a walk. We had no issue with Lizzie. She had no issue with us. Lizzie hadn't left home because of some irreparable rift. There had been no blowout. We loved her, and she loved us. The mixed messages we were receiving were entirely contradictory and made no sense. In early September, we saw Lizzie again at a church service celebrating Tim, a childhood friend of hers, who was being appointed as the Methodist Church Youth President. Tim was around Lizzie's age, and they'd grown up together through Sunday school and youth activities. I texted Lizzie about the event, knowing that she would want to support her friend. The service starts at 10:30, I told her, but it's expected to be busy, so try to get there early, kiss kiss. Lizzie asked if Lewis could come too. I told her that wasn't up to us. On the day of the service, 10:30 came and went without any sign of Lizzie. The church was packed as anticipated, but I kept glancing towards the door, hoping that she would appear. At 10:45, Lizzie arrived with Lewis and Coral. I gave Lizzie a wave, and she waved back. A church steward offered them chairs, but Coral refused, and they sat on the floor at the back, unable to see properly or participate. Initially they sat Lizzie, Lewis, Coral, with Lizzie on the edge, but after some apparent unpleasantness, eyewitnesses noticed Coral snapping at Lizzie, they rearranged to Lewis, Lizzie, Coral, with Lizzie flanked between them. At the end of the service, Coral left, but Lizzie stayed for the buffet lunch. She was never far from Lewis, but when Jane and I encountered them in the buffet line, Lizzie passed her plate to Lewis and gave us both big hugs. Jane later said that Lizzie had melted into her arms. That was the first time that Jane had seen Lizzie since she was driven away the day after she turned 18. Over lunch, Lizzie and Lewis sat apart from Jane and me, and that was probably for the best. We were there for lunch, and nobody wanted any awkwardness. However, at the appointed time for them to leave, summoned by Coral, Lizzie deliberately came over to us and gave us both a hug. They were real, genuine, reassuring, and authentic hugs. I repeat, we had no issue with Lizzie, and Lizzie had no issue with us. All of the drama, friction, divisiveness, and manipulative attempts to sabotage our relationship with our daughter came from outside the core triangle of Jane, Lizzie, and myself. In that moment, standing together in a family embrace in the middle of a church hall, we experienced a precious moment of affection and healing. it would not happen again for over 3 months. We said we loved her. She said she loved us. We said our goodbyes. Lizzie took hold of her hand, and she was gone once more. Just days earlier, texts from her phone had insisted she wanted us out of her life. But we knew that wasn't true. We knew our daughter. That afternoon I sent her a message. Nice to see you, Minky, kiss kiss. Good to see you too, kiss kiss, came the reply. Was it possible to restore things so that we could have a positive relationship with Lizzie without negative, destructive and obstructive interference? We very much hoped so. We had been greatly reassured by how Lizzie was towards us, her mum and dad. This was our girl, the one from whom no secrets were hidden, an integral part of our family. The negative messages, the threats to block us, and the assertion that she wanted nothing more to do with us had been traumatic and heartbreaking. We presumed those messages were not actually from Lizzie, but we weren't there when they were sent and we couldn't see who was sending them. We certainly hoped they weren't from Lizzie, because if they were, it would indicate deep mental trauma to be so emotionally polarised. Either Lizzie was developing a worrying split personality, or more plausibly, there were at least 2 people sending messages. During the week after the church service, Lizzie asked if I wanted a walk and chat with her. She suggested we have a walk up and down the road again the following Sunday. I agreed wholeheartedly. Shortly afterwards, Lizzie said she couldn't. Apparently, Coral had suddenly decided that they were all going to be building a chicken coop at the allotment on Sunday, and everybody needed to be there for that. Another time, promise. Sorry, kiss, texted Lizzie. I do want to see you, so we could do it another time if you want, kiss. The church service, the hugs, the positive tone of messages, the attempts from Lizzie to meet, attempts that were being thwarted by last-minute diktats from Coral, were very encouraging. Jane and I dared to hope that we might find a way through this nightmare, allowing us to see our daughter unaccompanied. We even imagined having a day out with her, taking a walk, chatting, sharing a meal, watching a film, and restoring our relationship to normal. Lizzie signed off with a final, sorry, kiss. I replied, Hakuna Matata, Minky. Sleep well. Good night, kiss. But that another time never came. Over a year later, it still hasn't happened. We were about to enter a new phase. Although Lizzie's 18th birthday already felt like a distant memory, in reality it had only been 2 months. Lizzie's family on Jane's side, aunties, uncles and grandparents, had pledged a pamper day as an 18th birthday gift. That pledge was made when Lizzie lived at home, of course. The subsequent tumult had made it challenging for that pledge to be honoured, but eventually a date was agreed as the 23rd of September 2023. This treat would take place at one of her uncle and auntie's house in Hessel, with a professional manicurist, pedicurist, pamper day specialist if you like, booked. Would it actually go ahead at all, I wondered. How would Lizzie get there? Would she be accompanied? Would Coral decide at the last minute that some obligatory chore needed to be done at the allotment? In the week leading up to the planned Pamper Day, Lizzie made a surprising invitation. She texted me to say, "You could pop in to see me on the spa day. I don't mind, kiss." Shortly afterwards, a follow-up. "Will you pop in to the spa day then, kiss?" I replied, "What, to have my nails done? Yes, please. I'll check. I wouldn't want to make things difficult. What about Mummy?" Lizzie answered, "Yeah, you can both come, kiss." "We'll sort something out," I said. "Love you, kiss." "Okay, and love you too, kiss." Later in the day, another text from Lizzie. "So if you're coming, are you just going to pop in to say hi, kiss?" "Maybe," I said. "We might even give our daughter a hug." Lizzie's response came seconds later. "You're allowed, kiss. Lol, kiss." The next day, Monday, 18th of September, yet more questions to confirm whether we would be seeing her at the Pamper Day. "Are you coming on Saturday? Are you just popping in to say hi, kiss?" I replied that we were intending going with the flow. I said, "The main thing is you and your Pamper Day. That's what it's about, kiss." On Tuesday, 19th of September, the messages from Lizzie stopped. They abruptly ceased. I sent a hi on Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday. I tried ringing her phone on Friday. It was switched off. Given how warm, approachable and affectionate Lizzie's messages had been in recent days, the sudden silence seemed highly suspicious. It felt like there was a reason for the silence, as though Lizzie was suddenly unable to reach out to us. Our suspicions were justified. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of When Safeguarding Fails, the Lizzie Gladwell Crisis. If you found it moving or helpful, or if you think our story could help others, then please like, share, or simply tell others about it. Thank you again, and join me for the next episode.